All right, another area that we were really watching closely was going to be Youngsville in Lafayette Parish. Mayor Ken Ritter joins us on the phone. And what is the situation from your vantage point this morning? Good morning to you.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. Overall, I'm very pleased. I think that our systems handled very well. I heard last night Rob Perillo say that Youngsville received about 9 inches of rainfall. And overall, I'm assessing this morning, and it looks like our major coulees are draining out. The areas that we were most concerned about, the water is receding. There's no longer standing water in roads. All of our roads are open this morning. We were certainly a little bit apprehensive. Of course, there's still a lot of rain anxiety lingering from the 2016 storm event, rightly so. But overall, things went as expected. It looks like a lot of the work that we've done proactively on drainage has made a difference. And that's the kind of work that we're going to continue to do in the city of Youngsville.
So you do have some areas, one neighborhood in specific is Hidden Ridge, where you do kind of have those problems that continue to creep up, even when there is a heavy rainstorm. I don't know how the relationship is between your office and the way that the parish prepares in that area and the actual developers of the area, but is there anything to do to prevent that in the future? I think there was some water up to some garages there.
Yeah, and that's a great question, and let me address that. First, thing to note is that that development was built to all of the applicable standards at the time when it was originally approved. Secondly, we have taken significant steps since the 2016 flood event to ensure that there's additional capacity in those neighborhood ponds. In fact, it's the equivalent of about 30 acre-feet across all their ponds of additional stormwater storage. In fact, we've even lowered the pond to a lower level to anticipate more stormwater storage. Now, some of the hype that happens with that particular development, everyone that lives in Youngsville and everyone that lives in Highland Ridge knows that Hill Ridge Drive, which is the main entrance to that development, for whatever reason, was built lower than the receiving coulee that takes its water. So that will not be the last time that road goes underwater. I can assure you that any development that has been approved since I became the mayor in 2015, we would not approve a development like that. We would put the onus on the developer to raise the road, do proper mitigation of stormwater displacement. But it makes a great photo drop. And, part of my frustration, I guess, yesterday was a lot of the hype associated with select media outlets that, in my opinion, were sensationalizing what is, frankly, the norm in that particular area. There's not one home that flooded in Highland Ridge neighborhood. In fact, across our entire city, we had 2 homes that flooded, and one home that flooded was a repetitive loss that we can count back to probably 5 or 6 times into the 80s.
Wow.
So at some point, I would imagine that property owner has to come to terms with FEMA's repetitive loss program and make a settlement. The second home that flooded was an isolated case, and I met with that homeowner last night, and I already have a team out looking at the drainage in his particular area to ask ourselves, is there something that we can do better? Because that's what we will do. We will do better. And but no home that had the concentration of flood damage in the 2016 flooded. And I would say that with the 9 inches of rain in a 12-hour period, with competing factors working to our disadvantage, such as storm surge in the south where we drain to, wind and tidal conditions were all working against us. Overall, I think we fared very well.
I want to just go back and then we'll kind of move on. But about that road that you said is lower than the coulee that it drains to, is there a plan, or is it even something the city would look at to raise that road, to rebuild it higher?
Well, so we have done some steps. I mean, and without belaboring the point about
Hmm.
everything that we've done,
Yeah.
that particular road has been raised 1 foot already as part of our post 2016 improvement
Hmm.
projects for that particular area. So, we can go higher, of course, but there is there's a cost benefit to any uh, infrastructure project that we do. What the media is not reporting in that particular case is that there are also two different entrances to that neighborhood. This
Hmm.
particular neighborhood we close off, and that's a standard event when there's anticipated flooding in the area. The frequency of time that we've had to close that road has been less because once you raise that road a foot, and we can go higher, and perhaps that's something that we'll continue to consider doing, but there's access from other side roads. So, to my knowledge, no one was unable to access their home in that area. That neighborhood is an open ditch neighborhood, so water fills the ditches in the front, and then when those ditches are over inundated, the water does creep up closer
Hmm.
into the yards. I get it. The rain anxiety is real. I had a short period yesterday morning where I felt it as well. But overall, doing a post assessment of the event, I think that what we'll be able to conclude is that the work that our city council and our administration has invested in making certain that those low-lying areas that perhaps wouldn't be built to the standards that we have would not be built to those standards today.
Hmm.
They fared well. The morning of the flood in 2016, these same homes flooded with less rainfall and without the competing factors such as wind, surge, and tide. And many of those homeowners woke up to rising waters where we were able to hold back and sustain 9 inches of rain with all those competing factors. This particular neighborhood doesn't drain to the Vermilion River. We hear a lot about the Vermilion
Hmm.
River, but
Yep.
where we drain on the majority of our channels in Youngsville is either into St. Martin Parish or into Iberia Parish, and that's why a cooperative, collective effort on our regional stormwater detention ponds was necessary. So when you have St. Martin and Iberia receive higher amounts of rainfall than we do, prior to us, in this case, they were receiving rain on Saturday, and in higher rainfall events, they were simply already stacked up, coupled with the surge, coupled with the wind working against us, and there was still no water in the homes. Simply some inconvenience on Hill Ridge Drive.
Yeah.
But let this be a news flash to everyone. Hill Ridge Drive will be closed again,
Hmm.
but there are two other ways into the neighborhood. And about 10 minutes ago, I just drove down Hill Ridge Drive. So anyone that's going to work today, you can go through
You
Hill
can't get
Ridge
there.
Drive, which was the drama point yesterday morning.
Well, and yeah, and I'll tell you, I think that insight is enormous because you know what, you do see it from that one angle, and it looks like, oh gosh, no one can get out, and you make a very good point. But I drove around yesterday in many areas, pressure points. One of which the kind of drainage canal that runs along the side of Route 92, where we saw that was a huge place in 2016. And it looked as if
Yes.
the drainage was happening as if it's supposed to. I mean, you could see
Hmm.
water in there, but it was moving, and I think that's a big win for you, Mayor. So appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you for covering the story and for the work that you guys do as well.